Hello world and welcome back. I am uploading this as the last part of What If Deku Was Cursed to Toga, as simply the footnotes on the end. I just saw that there was some parts that needed a little bit of fixing, and that came with the aftermath of the events that unraveled during the final. He does not actually love her anymore, actually. I realized that it'd be better of an ending if he was just to let her go instead of loving her still. There's no mind fucking going on. There's nothing like that. It's realistically, they've just become arch enemies again. Yes, he still has those feelings for her, but he has to set them aside while fighting, as she does too. However, she constantly is trying to drag him into the dark, while he is always constantly trying to drag her into the light. A yin and yang, if you might say. After the events that had unfolded, the world becomes peaceful again. The balance is now perfected. Everything has its way now. It's understandable. It's the same as it was in the original canon. The darkness would always fight against the light, and the light will always fight against the dark. After all the events that happened, Aizawa, still in his grief, now making the tower their own, the reincarnation machine, Deku actually gets an idea. The reincarnation machine seems like it's in shambles. It's completely destroyed. Deku takes up the ashes of Mrs. Joke and takes it up into the reincarnation machine, spreads it around, and then tries his best. They have their best scientists actually on the job, trying to fix the machine as fast as they can. However, Deku trying to keep it under wraps from Aizawa, because Aizawa would basically go insane if he knew that that's happening and try to rush it and basically destroy the machine. And the resulting fact of that he would rush it too much. So they fixed it in secret, just enough to at least resurrect one person. As he saw it fit to tell Aizawa. Aizawa rushes down as suddenly he lays out Mrs. Joke's ashes on top of the machine. Suddenly, the green light pierces throughout the rest of the room. It can be seen across the whole world, as the machine is breaking constantly while doing it. The scientists try their best, however, the machine breaks down eventually. But one woman stands in front of the rest of the room. She comes out of the pod, almost daintily. Her last memory is starting to reflect back in her mind of Toga's face, reflecting through the rest of her body. Shivers roll down her spine, however, only seeing Aizawa's smile brings her back to reality. Did you? Don't tell me. Save me now? I thought I'd have to save you once more. Choke. You can't choke now. Just come here, boy. As he immediately jumps onto her, hugging her and throwing her up into the air, almost uncontrollably because of his amazing power for an average adult. His explosive power and his steps, rage throughout the rest of the machine. As Deku tries to calm him down after a second, saying that he's almost going to destroy the whole facility if he continues this. As Aizawa calms himself down and then takes up Deku's hand and says, "I forgive you. Thank you." He says, "No problem, Aizawa. It was the least I could do to repent." Aizawa nods his head as he closes his eyes and then looks back to Mrs. Joke and kisses her on the lips and then takes her out. As they slowly leave the facility, Deku starts his plans, making the whole watchtower that was now going to be crafted out of the exoskeleton of the beholder's eye. It would now watch the whole world and keep it safe as in the later years, he would craft it into the magnificent Overwatch facility, they would call it. And him standing at the pinnacle. He would rule over the rest of this world and make sure that no villain would ever dare harm it. As then it would be the same for Toga. She would quickly rise to the highest position as she was the one that would command the rest of it, being able to change into literally anybody, even All Might, and mocking him. She gained the favor of many villains, and thus became one of the most powerful acquaintances of all. She also led the charge for all of the villains, so they saw her as sort of the top dog. And Overhaul dying also made her one of the only strongest villains that was left. She would harvest the underworld, crafting new different types of Nomus as their secret little pets. However, out of kindness of Deku, she wouldn't attack for many years until, the wars started to rage again. After all, she couldn't hold herself back. It only takes so long. She just couldn't wait. Her laughs would echo through the shadows, commanding the rest of the world to its shrill vibe. All villains of the underworld would take command from her now from on. She would always be there. For she was basically immortal, being able to take up the blood of anybody and craft it into herself. As her powers grew, Deku's reign continued. Basically turning the whole world into a peacekeeper's safe haven, being able to, demand anything he wants to. It became a perfect world of yin and yang, the world that they had always wanted. And thank you so much for watching. This has been the bonus features, basically. Just some things I wanted to fix up and finish on the edges there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully someday, sometime. Goodbye.